have some money to buy non-physical games, I guess, because that's what's happening now. Today's side quest, we're going to try to fix this broken system, or at least recognize what it feels like living in a broken system. Maybe take the cartridge out, blow on it real quick, see if we can get the things booted back up. But today, I got a couple points I want to talk about, mainly promises from college as a millennial who went to college and didn't get what he wanted, career expectations, who, as a millennial who has a career and expectations aren't really being met, homeownership, how that's changed and how crazy that's gotten, really. I know we talk about that a lot everywhere because we're millennials or what have you, and we're trying to own a home. The economic changes that kind of make things unstable compared to what they used to be, and I guess the outdated device that I'm running on, but you're probably running on too. I'm hoping I can give you some new advice here that, won't feel as outdated in 25 years, right? So let's jump into it, boss. Right now, I guess the first thing is the college expectations, right? I went to a community college or a 2 year after graduating high school, and then I went to a 4 year. But I didn't really finish my 4 year despite having a lot of credits. I think last time I checked my transcripts, I had about 119 credits total. So I'm not that far away from getting a bachelor's degree. But what really kind of set me off that path was just the career that I was going, or I guess the career track in my college I was going for. I was going to school for graphic design, and having been a freelancer up until that point, because that's kind of what I picked up and got through community college with on my own, for cash here and there. I felt like I had some lived experience, so I thought I was going to be able to kind of meld that into the curriculum and get something out of that. But in my experience here, the first 2 years of my college experience in the design course was great. My foundation year, my second year with typography and other principles was awesome. That really helped me out even in my day-to-day freelance stuff by a mile. But what really did it for me was my 3rd year, and I'm not sure if they wanted to kind of give us multidisciplinary stuff as a graphic designer, which I understand. Graphic designer being a kind of a blanket term for a bunch of different things. But me coming in there already knowing what I want and how I wanted to perceive things, kind of what I want to sub niche into under graphic design, which is mostly logos and branding. I think that they kind of treated it more so. I guess I was looking at it more so as like a grad school thing because I graduated community college, right? But I guess the main thing is I kind of dropped out. Outside of the curriculum not being what I wanted to be, the price wasn't really there either. If I came to y'all school with 2 years of education already done, it's a 4 year institution. How about we figure out a way to condense my load so I don't have to take 4 entire years extra to finish my my degree for graphic design, my discipline for graphic design. I understand that was y'all program and that's how it was kind of set up. But if y'all are courting a bunch of transfer students, y'all could have had something done better for that. But moving on here, for college career expectations, excuse me, those really aren't the same either, or at least the expectations I was told that I will be ready to expect. I'm hearing that, or I was told that you go to college, you learn your skills and your skill set, and it helps you lock in a career or lock in, get your foot in the door for a career, so you can learn things from the company from there. That's half true because most things you do learn on the job or learn for the job are taught to you on the job, especially in IT or graphic design and things like that, because clients have a specific way of being interacted with. I understand that in most corporate situations, right? But your expectations are doing that for a period of time so you can have enough money to buy a house, pay off your loans, support a family, so on and so forth. None of those expectations are being met right now. Not one. Not one. Even as a renter, is barely being met. I'm holding it together with duct tape and chewing gum. And my boy, they are telling me that we are not giving out any raises. So I'm going to have to go to the store to get some more gum because this thing's falling apart. But, that I guess that's probably the biggest part of the career expectation is just like I expected, and I'm sure we all expect the kind of like money to be there to be something worth the end of the grind from college to career, to mid-level career worker. I don't know, none of that is really hitting like it used to. At this point, My career expectations were to be able to work one job, do a passion project on the side, take care of my family, and then, really dive in on my health. But the reality of my career now is that, for most careers now, is that you have your main career, the one that pays majority of the bills, and you have like 2 to 5 side hustles Frankenstein together, so you can have money to do other things, whether that be invest in a passion project, have some money to go eat, my nigga, like just go chill out, um, have some money to buy non-physical games, I guess, because that's what's happening now. But still, the money's kind of drying up, and not because we're spending it recklessly. I'm pretty sure you, like me, are making more money than your parents were at this age. So it's kind of like, what's going on with that imbalance? And I guess the next point of is kind of speaking to that, the economic changes we're going through. Like I just mentioned here, we're going through crazy times right now. If I'm making 50K and my mom was bawling her eyes out because she's like, wow, that's more money than I've ever made. But I'm still in a similar situation as her, or as I've been when I was living with her 10 years ago. Something's going on there. And it's really disheartening to kind of see that happen in real time. Like I don't know, what do you guys feel like about this? I know the economic thing is something we're all experiencing right now. So what's your guys' take on it, right? Am I tripping about what 4 bags of chips used to be $1 and now they're 2 for $1? Or, do y'all see where I'm coming from? Because this really wasn't kind of tracked on my roadmap to things, but, going back to the economic advantages or disadvantages we're going through right now. And, I'm going to briefly talk about home ownership and the dream of that, because, I'll sum it to you this way. I'll sum it to you this way with a little story or anecdote that I was talking to, my wife about. We were looking at a house and just on YouTube, looking at some random listing that some realtor put up in Oregon. So it's like PNW, United States. We're not there, but that's the move, hopefully. And she was telling me, oh man, this house is pretty nice. It has a couple rooms. We were talking about furnishing the basement in there because the basement was unfurnished, like what we would do with the house, really getting into the fantasy of it. And I asked, how much is the house? This was great. Oh, she says it's not even that much. It's like $550,000. And I said, word? That's crazy. That's such a good price right now. And then I stopped myself and I thought about it. $550,000 for a 2-story house is a good price? Oh man, we cooked. But that's home ownership. I'm gonna leave that one at that. And I guess the last part that I just gotta get off my chest about this broken system is just the advice we're hearing from people who kind of grew up with the system working for them. I'm talking about my boomers. I'm talking about my Gen Xers. I'm talking about my millennials that made it out. Y'all can't tell me to work harder anymore. You can't. I'm working hard. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. I'm doing this, that, and the third thing. And I'm still not able to make things kind of come together. But the advice we're getting is outdated. The keep your head down and work it up. Work until you need to finish or what have you for 40 years. And honestly, at this point, companies don't even keep people for that long. They don't. I'm noticing a trend in corporate like America where you kind of max out around 4 or 5 years if you're not making significant strides within that company. And when I say significant strides, I mean they kind of want you to give your life, body, and soul to them so you can get a promotion of about 15K. And nobody's doing that. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that for anybody. Sorry. I barely want to do that for myself. So I don't understand why I have to come to work on time, perform my duties, talk to everybody at the water cooler, keep pushing and keep my head down and take a liquor from my boss or two when they get upset that something happened on their end, only for me to be kind of let go in about 4 years' time, mainly because I'm getting paid at a rate that is more than they could pay somebody if they hire somebody today. And I know that we know that that's all kind of facts. It's just the advice is outdated. The path is well worn to the point of no vegetation on it. There's nothing new to be grown here. It's just a path that you can walk, but we kind of see the end of that path. It's not really means to an end. So I guess what are you gonna do? What would you do on the side quest? If you were on a side quest and the roadmap's outdated, how would you circumvent that, y'all? Drop it in the comments below. And if you got this far, go ahead and drop a map emoji in the comments. Let's see, or X emoji. X marks the spot. and see if we can't, get some community going in this comments here, and if you have a piece of advice that's no longer realistic for you, specific or general or otherwise, drop it in the comments. Let me know. Maybe it'll work for me, right? We could trade advice. But hey, thanks for questing with me. I'll catch y'all in the next quest.